We have the invasion of the skeeters. When I was a kid, and this may date me a little bit, it may date you too. Do you remember the whole threat of killer bees coming up, the Africanized honeybees coming through Mexico? There's some bad TV movies where I remember vividly as a kid, I was scared to death of bees. I got stung by a bee, and I didn't like it when I was like a little kid, and I'm not fond of bees right now, but I'll tolerate them. And I remember the guy jumping into the swimming pool, breathing through a tube made of wallpaper that he'd ripped off the wall. I'm like, my God, these things are coming. And, living in upstate New York, generally not too many bees are going to make the passage up there. But we have a new scare in the Zika virus, and on that, his name is Mosquito Steve, which is actually his biblical name. Steve, hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine there. How afraid here in southwest Ohio in the Cincinnati area should we be afraid of Zika-laden mosquitoes this summer?
Well, here's the thing. So the CDC has not yet reported, but the truth is, they're saying that the Aedes aegypti, of course, is the mosquito that carries Zika, and that's what everybody's afraid of. And they've shown this map where Aedes aegypti probably won't get up to Ohio. Here's the problem. They found that Zika is also carried by the Culex mosquito, okay, which is the one that carried most of the West Nile virus. So you guys have Culex mosquitoes, so there is a chance Zika is going to get up there.
We could get Zika. Do I have to worry about this because I'm a man?
Yeah, don't get pregnant.
Okay, thank you.
You'll have trouble getting a ride anywhere or finding a bathroom if you do that.
I was going to say, is there, because this only targets pregnant women, is there a way we can invent to make it fair a mosquito disease just for men?
Oh, there's plenty of diseases. That's the thing. The Zika virus, if you're a pregnant woman, I read somewhere this morning this lady was all concerned. We wanted to get pregnant, but now we can't. And it's like, oh, come on.
Oh, good Lord.
So the deal is you can protect yourself. Just wear repellent. Don't have sex with somebody who's been over in the Caribbean or, the overseas lately, and you'll be okay.
Well, there goes my vacation. That's what I planned on doing.
But
damn it.
Still, we don't have any localized cases of Zika in the U.S., so that means that somebody traveled overseas, came over, had sex with somebody here, and then they contracted Zika virus. And so no mosquitoes yet. Just got to be careful.
How's it contracted, Steve, down in South America and the Caribbean, and why don't we have it here? Does it have to do with sanitary procedures or what?
Well, no, it does a little bit, but we've been very diligent about getting rid of mosquitoes for a long time here. I don't know if you were talking about being a kid. Well, when I was a kid, we used to run behind the DDT trucks up and down the alleys, and we had a ball doing that. Thought it was so cool, right. And so that might explain a lot of my problems these days. But but we chased those trucks, and so we were able to get rid of malaria here, and so we're a lot more diligent about taking care of mosquito problems. Almost every major city has vector control that helps get rid of mosquitoes, and since we've had West Nile virus since 1999, we've taken extra precautions to eliminate these things. So we're really good. Look, here's the thing. If Zika hadn't arrived in America, we probably would not be looking for a cure for it. And that's what we're looking for, a vaccine now. So thank God for the rest of the world.
Yeah, and I think it's probably the rest of the world, too, because, you think about it, and it's certainly if my wife were pregnant or we're in the childbearing age or whatever it might be, but just by sheer nature, it's such a small percentage of the population to begin with. And, people are worked up by they hear Zika on the news or they see Zika as a headline and think, my God, it's coming to get me, not knowing that, first of all, it affects an important but small part of the population, and more importantly, the chance of these mosquitoes with Zika getting to the Cincinnati, Southwest Ohio area, it's not going to happen.
Well, and so here's what's different about the Zika virus versus the West Nile virus. So West Nile is transferred through birds and horses, but it's not through humans. If I get West Nile, which I got West Nile virus in 2008, well, if a mosquito bites me and then goes and bites somebody else, they won't get West Nile. That's not the case with Zika. So if somebody is wandering around out there and has Zika virus and a mosquito bites them and goes and bites somebody else, there's a good chance they'll get Zika virus. So it is transferred from human to human.
All right.
So that's why it might spread. That's why they got scared and thinking that it might spread faster here. But I will tell you, if you're a pregnant woman, you don't want encephalitis, you don't want West Nile virus, you don't want any of the 150 pathogens that mosquitoes carry.
Mosquitoes are generally nasty anyway. What's the best procedure for ridding mosquitoes in my yard, Steve?
Well, if you are local here, I would tell you I've got great products, and so the thing is that up till now we've been using some pretty harsh chemicals to get rid of mosquitoes. There are some natural products. What my goal has been is to invent products that are natural but are better than the chemicals, because nobody wants to switch if they're going to sacrifice efficacy. So I've created products that are actually better than permethrin, better than pyrethrin, better than DEET, and so that's really been my goal. I've actually had as many as 900 mosquito bites in one night, as I've done testing, hundreds and hundreds of field trials. Well, West Nile virus now is the main thing, but I've done hundreds of field trials because it's the only way to really determine if a product works. I can do anything in a lab. I can spray water on a lab and kill it. A mosquito. So it's really real world situations. That's where I test.
What about those things where it's got the propane tank and heat stuff? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah. Those were real exciting when they came out. They actually sold $80 million a year worth of those things for a couple of years in a row. The problem is they didn't work very well, so they ended up taking them all back, and the company sold their assets for $6 million. Okay. Their traps don't generally work because there's always reinforcements coming behind them. If there's something attracting mosquitoes, then there's going to be lots of mosquitoes behind them following suit. So traps they don't really make sense. We've got what I recommend is some kind of a yard spray. In fact, that's what so you spray your yard and it gets rid of mosquitoes for 2 weeks, also gets rid of chiggers and some fleas. There are professional services that do it, or I have do-it-yourself products that do that. But then also add some misting to it, whether it's a little hand device of misting or if you have a misting system, then do that, and that keeps the fly-ins from coming in, and that's the best way to protect your yard.
There's this new technology, Steve. I'm sure you've heard of this thing. It's the mosquito laser. Have you heard of this?
I have heard.
How badass does that sound right there? So it's I talk about this every year. You got you get one for your backyard, and it covers like a half acre or something like that. And it takes like $50 worth of electronics to build this thing. And I'm surprised someone hasn't released this yet. So it sits up like on a fence post, and it scans the back of your yard, I don't know how many times a second, for bugs. And what it does is looking for a distinctive frequency which mosquitoes put out from their wings flapping. And then the female mosquito, which is the one that bites, because it's always the woman's fault, it flaps at a different frequency. And what it does is it locates those particular hits. It targets a laser that shoots across the yard that's invisible, and it melts that female mosquito in midair. And it takes care of the problem with mosquitoes in your backyard. That is crazy cool.
It is. I saw Star Wars too, and I loved it. And so I don't think. Look, I'm hopeful. That would be great if that thing actually comes out. I wouldn't hold out a lot of hope for it. Most of your gimmicks and stuff like that just are not.
But lasers.
Never proved to be. I know.
But lasers.
I know. Well, I might get one. I'm just saying I might go ahead and keep spraying my yard too because, and I wouldn't hold out a lot.
All right, just get there.
It would be fun though.
MosquitoSteve.com is the website. Again, don't be afraid of the Zika. MosquitoSteve.com. Thanks again, Steve. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Scott.
Have a good day.